The Hive just released Bedwars Season 2, also known as Magical Mayhem, and after playing a lot of games in the new season, I think I found the new perfect strategy to win every game. First of all, they didn't actually change much of the shop, but instead added new items that changed the way you play the game. Let's go through each of the new items they added and are actually useful. They added wind charges, which I think are a must. They essentially serve as a cheaper fireball. Fireballs are 64 iron, while wind charges are only 48 iron. I would use wind charges when you want to knock someone off a bridge or to push someone in the air. I would use fireballs when you specifically want to break into a bed or if you want to damage someone easily. They added totems to the game, which can either benefit you or inflict your opponents. But we don't really care about these two, we just care about this one. The Totem of Life is so useful. They heal you and nearby teammates, but they heal you fast. And you can place two near each other and stand between them to heal up instantly. That's not it though. Placing a life totem in the middle of a fight makes you win almost every time. The totems don't heal the opponent, so you'll have more health while fighting them. The opponent will likely be running away from you, which if you were low in the first place, that's a good thing that they're running away from you. And because it heals you so quickly, you can easily kill them. The totems also can't be damaged by enemy players, but the reason why all three of these totems, especially the life totem, are so broken is due to how easy they are to get. They only cost 2 diamonds. You can fill up an entire inventory of totems late game. That's why these things are broken. You can spam the life and even the fire totems, and the opponent can't do much about it. The opponent kinda just has to accept their fate. The other 2 totems do serve their purpose, but I wouldn't buy them. People can run away from the Totem of Burning, so it's most effective when you're about to die, and I feel like the Totem of Fatigue is only really useful in late game Manor or squad games. Season 2 also introduces potions, which can be brewed at the new potion table. I wouldn't recommend spending your diamonds to use a potion table. I don't tend to use it in most of my games, but if you have a lot of diamonds on you, I would buy it and use the speed potions. The speed you get from drinking one is really fast, and it lasts for a bit, which allows you to unpredictably move around your opponent to land more hits on them. I would avoid the potion table entirely early game to focus on getting weapons and upgrading your generator, but speed potions late game are an amazing item to use. Now it's time to recap some Season 1 tips that still apply and share some of these strategies I've picked up while playing more. Let's start off with some genuine tips that apply to every Bedwars game. You know, obviously remember to make smart decisions. If you know someone is good at the game, maybe you should not push them and try to get better stuff than them. Buy Deep Slate. You can get Deep Slate within the first minute of the game with diamonds, and you kinda need diamonds to mine Deep Slate, which if you control the diamond gen, you will be set. After upgrading your generator, it's actually better to use planks instead of wool because you get the same amount of gold and iron after upgrading, and you get more blocks for purchasing planks. Putting stuff in your ender chest is one of the most useful tools. You should put your valuables like emeralds in your ender chest so no one else could kill and take them. You should also put swords you get from killing others in your ender chest for emergency situations as well. Make sure you have pearls on you late game. Because Bedwars now has dories, fireballs, and now wind charges, it's really easy to get knocked off. Try to aim for some form of structure when pearling. Because most of the Bedwars maps are shaped like this, it's easier to clutch at a structure instead of at the bottom of the island. Pearls are also really useful in emergency situations where you're low or if you don't have any blocks. Although something I would worry about is fall damage when pearling, which golden apples and the life totems would help immensely. Fireballs, for the most part, shred through blocks and the player's health. Like I said earlier, you should use it to break into a bed or if you want to damage someone that's overprotected. While we're at it, practice blocking into defenses. You won't need to use this all the time, but covering yourself in blocks like planks or stronger to mine in the bed defense is a great way to prevent yourself from being killed when the enemies are all ganged up on you. And lastly, get 3 emeralds and buy regeneration. This is genuinely the best team upgrade. It will save you in so many late game fights, and a lot of people don't know about it. Now since each Bedwars variant is different, I'll go through what to do for each Bedwars variant, including the new Manors mode. Let's start off with solos. So for the beginning of the game, the first thing you want to do is buy 16 wool and rush the diamond generator. It's important to note that some solos maps are kinda whack and you have to bridge ground level to make it comfortably to diamond generator and back. Then you go back to your base and upgrade generator by interacting with the screen. This is so you can get gold as well as iron from your generator. Then I would immediately buy a sword and rush the team next to you. If the other team is rushing, you might have to sumo them. If you win, I'd go straight for them. If they're a good enough player, I would get a sword instead of rushing them. If they have a sword, try your hardest to knock them into the void. If it's a stalemate between you and your opponent, try to take control of the diamond generator to buy deep slate. Try to not let your opponent get a pickaxe. Once you're done with your side rush, you should have enough gold to get iron armor. After that, I go to middle, collect emeralds, fully upgrade generator to get more items, and rush each base through middle. Duos is slightly more complicated because of the maps. Some maps have different layouts, so you have to learn where everything is and the scale of the maps, but for the most part, it's similar to solos. Worldwood, for example, is more of a diagonal rushing map, while older maps like Cityscape feature a layout like this. You would rush diamond generator, go to base, upgrade your generator, and then rush the team next to you. A little thing I do is try to steal their iron as much as possible by stalling them at their base so I can get as much blocks as possible early game. After that, I go to middle and get better stuff. I will say for duos, you should focus more on getting better items than your opponents in solos. You and your teammate for most situations should have at least iron armor before pushing every other team. Now it's time for squads. The Hive has removed islands for most of the rush heavy maps for season 2, so the strategy for squads is completely different. The rush heavy maps like Cyberspace, Tropical, and Grove require more than 60 blocks to accomplish a rush. Pretty much all of the squads maps have been switched to a more casual playstyle with more distant rushes for more laid back gameplay. The map picked is now completely irrelevant. So now what I would do for squads is to chill out more. I would rush diamond generator and upgrade. Then I would go to middle and collect diamonds to fully upgrade generators. In the meantime, I would probably attempt rushing a team with blocks and a sword. Being in a party with good players would also help a lot. And finally, it's time for Manor, the new limited time Bedwars mode that I believe will be only around for season 2. There's two things that set this game apart from the others. One, there's the Soul Forge at middle where you can exchange souls for wands. However, these wands suck, and I would completely avoid them. And two, there's only a few parts of the map with void. Most of this map is voidless. There's 5 people on each team, so there's more people you have to cooperate with. However, here's the best strategy. I would immediately get blocks, get diamonds, and upgrade your generator. Then I would buy a sword and try to fully max out the generators before going to any base. It will be slow at the start, but because there's 3 generators, it will be a powerhouse. Once you have good enough stuff, I would try rushing each team. Fireballs are really useful in this game due to how many people camp at their own base. Besides blocking in, which doesn't work all of the time, fireballs are the easiest way to get into a bed defense. So those are all of my simple tips for Hive Bedwars Season 2. Click here to go watch one of my favorite videos I've uploaded.